Alright, so let's cover another example now, but in this case let's use some technology. So I've got a list here and it shows the number of ice creams sold over a period of 13 weeks as it follows. So we've got here 146, 151, 158 and so forth. Now write down the mode and use technology to find the mean and the median for this data set. So what you're going to do now, you're going to get your calculator and we're going to use some statistical functions in our calculator. So the first thing you do, you go to menu and you go to stat, which is statistics. And then it already opens a list. And then what you're going to do, you will put those numbers in. So 146, 151. So each one of those will be in a different row. 160, 147, 158, 160, 216, 225, and 238. So when we're done, to find the data, we just go to calculate one variable, and it shows us a lot of information. So the first thing that we see here is our mean. So our mean is 171.3. I'm giving the four significant figures here, right? It would be 3, 1, 3, 5. But that's fine. 171 would be okay as well. All right, that's your mean. Now, if you scroll down in your calculator, you will see more data here. And we can find our mode here, 158, and our median, which is also 158. So this is the mean, right? 171.3, median 158, and mode 158. Again, the mode is the most frequent one. The median is the one which is exactly in the middle. So if we reorganize this, this is the one which is going to be exactly in between. And the median, the mean is just the average, right, of all of those. So in this new example now, I've got a frequency table. And then we can also use technology to make our lives easier. The difference here now is that we're going to use two columns of this list. So it's not going to be only one variable anymore. So how do we do that? So first table, for the first column will be our data, which in this case it's a score, right? The score of possible scores when throwing two dice. Alright, so first one will be 2, second 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are all the outcomes when throwing two dice. Okay, and now we go to the top, and on the second column we'll put our frequencies. So first frequency is 21, second is 9, 8, 4, 7, 20, 13, 9, 6, 2, and 1. Good? So far, so good. So, same thing now. Oh no, this is just one variable, right? We're analyzing the frequency of occurrence of one variable, which is the result of a throw of two dice. So what do you do here? One variable again. And there you go. So our average, our mean, was 7. Our median is 7, and our mode is 2. Now, this is a very common mistake. If you calculate your average, you'll see that those values, they are wrong. And why? Well, because we need to do some setup first. So we need to go here on set. And then it shows here that the first list, the one var x list, is your list 1. So that's right, that's our column. Now 1 var frequency, that's our list 2. So now when we calculate 1 var, now everything is right. So this is in fact our mean, and if we scroll down we'll get our median and our mode. If we don't do that, let me show you again. If you do not set this properly, look how it's going to look like. You might not notice that this is wrong, but when you scroll down you'll see lots of different modes. So that's wrong, right? So what do you have to do again? Set, and then here 1 var frequency, you have to add your list. This is actually interesting because if you had, let's say, different occurrences, if this was one person throwing dice, you could have another person throwing dice here with different results, and you could also do 1 var analysis without having to delete your list 2. You would just set this, for example, to be list 3 if you had a list 3, right? So if I had here, let's say, different results, I don't know, it's gonna be something different and probably very awkward, but should work. So 1 variable, there you go. So our mean, got modes, averages, and the median. So it's easy. So far so good, right? So going back to our results list, oops, exit here, list 2, execute, exit, 1 var, there you go. So let's write down our values. So our mean was 5.82, our median, then we have to scroll down here, median was 7, right? So median was 7, and the mode was 2. And we can see that the mode is the easiest one. We can see straight away. That's the most frequent one. Median, mean and median, they're a bit harder to visualize straight away. Now, a third situation in which you might be, expected or to also use technology, and it will help you a lot because you will not be expected to do all this working out during your exams by hand, and you are allowed to use a calculator in all of your IB exams. So make use of it, learn how to use it. That should be just like your right hand. Well, let's see. So here we've got 50 cats, and we have recorded the weights of those cats. Now, if you notice, this is slightly different from what we had before, because now our data is continuous. Oops, continuous, right? So what do we do when our data is continuous? Well, we need to find some midpoint. So what is the midpoint between 2 and 3? 2.5. 3 and 4, 3.5. 4 and 5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, and 7.5. And that's done. Now we put those as our data and those as our frequencies into our calculator again. And you know how to do it, right? Fair enough. So 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 4.5, 7.5. And that's it. Second column, our frequencies. So 5, 19, 17, 5, 3, and 1. Now we go for a set, we check, yeah, that's right, list 2 is our frequencies. So we go back 1 var, and here we go. So if nothing is wrong here, right, let's check the table 3. Oh, let's see. So 2.55, 3.519, oh, See, mistyped. 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. There you go. Now looks right. So 1 var. There we go. So our mean 4.2. 4.2. What about our mode and our median? So our median is 4.5 and our mode is 3.5. Right? And we can see that the mode is easier to see because we see the frequencies here, right? And there we go. That's basically about what you're going to do using calculators and technology so far with the data that we have.